Hey Rumpers, got another cool deck to show you. So this is the deck I've been climbing with recently. It's gone 43 and 22 so far, although I'm still kind of refining it. I've made some changes, so hopefully it's doing even better these days. But this deck is called Dinner and a Crossbow. So who's eating dinner? The Graveprowler is eating dinner. So this deck is all based around this Senche-raht Graveprowler. So you're trying to get a big creature in your discard and then use the Quicksilver Crossbow and the Archer's Gambit to feed the Graveprowler. But you know, this Graveprowler does not like fresh meat, he likes rotten meat. So we're playing some of the rottenest cards we can find, like Bog Lurcher. So you want to get out this Bog Lurcher, and really you're trying to get in your discard. So if you can hit face with the Bog Lurcher, you know, it's like, you know, Christmas, but even if the Bog Lurcher doesn't survive, you don't really care that much because the point of playing Bog Lurcher is to feed the Graveprowler. So this is an interesting deck. I'm not really sure exactly how to categorize this deck. It's got some very, very aggro stuff in here, like Bog Lurcher and Blighted Elite, because you're trying to play these big attack creatures in order to be able to have something tasty for your Graveprowler to eat. But then because we're playing Graveprowler, we're playing the Crossbow and Gambit, and then because we're playing Crossbow and Gambit, we're playing things like Imbued Bosmer, you know, Fighters Guild Recruit, Ungolem, Sanctuary Pet, and because we're playing all those lethal creatures, we've got Astrid. So it does have this kind of defensive slant there as well. But it's also got this combo thing going with the Graveprowler and the Crossbow. So I guess it's like kind of like a mid-range deck, although it's not kind of what I think of as like a traditional mid-range deck, whereas like I think of mid-range as being like you have big beefy creatures that can, you know, take out your opponent's creatures and survive. We don't have a lot of that going on, right? You're not getting a value trade with your Bog Lurcher. But it does have, you know, some defensive potential with your lethal creatures and, you know, the Gambit and everything. And it has, you know, you can put a lot of pressure on with, you have a lot of these, you know, 5 attack type of creatures. And recently, I did add this Quinral Burglar. This is one of the most recent additions, and I haven't quite had a chance yet to actually draw it that many times. I'm not sure how well it's working, but the idea here is it's kind of like you know, another Graveprowler essentially, where you can use the Crossbow and the Gambit and the Swift Strike, and you know, it has the potential for, you know, a huge comeback if you do like you know, a Crossbow and Swift Strike on your Burglar. You could gain like, you know, 23 health and do, you know, 23 face damage potentially with that Crossbow and Swift Strike. But I don't usually play Quinral Burglar because it just dies too quickly. And, you know, the Graveprowler with that 5 health is a little more survivable. You know, it doesn't die to Lightning Bolt and things like that. But I'm trying out the Quinral Burglar just because if you're getting a lot of pressure from aggro, you can't really play the Graveprowler, but you could play out the Burglar. Yeah, so because we have a lot of high attack creatures, we have the Ash Berserker for draw, a couple Fresh Starts for draw, and a couple Gamblers. Only 2 Gamblers because it's not like lots of great Gambler fodder in this deck. We don't have the kind of token generators I usually like to play Gambler with, but we do have like Imbued Minotaur and Imbued Bosmer that are kind of Gambler targets, and a Cloak and Dagger. I am playing Ungolem in this list, even though I don't usually like Ungolem. Some people put him in everything. I don't agree with that. I don't think Ungolem's that good, but in this deck, because I do have the Gambit and the Crossbow and, you know, a decent amount of draw, I am playing him here. You know, he's also one of my only 1-drops in this deck. I guess I usually play more 1-drops. But yeah, I am playing him, although I don't usually like to. A couple of Dreamers, and now this card I really like, Ornamented Sword. I love this card. I think it's underplayed. Having that flexibility to play a 3/2 on turn 2, like, you know, especially if you need, you know, something to trade into aggro, but, you know, also just as a bit of pressure. That flexibility to play out on turn 2 is great. And then, I mean, the real value, you know, is giving your creature breakthrough. So, you know, particularly if it's something like a Graveprowler, right? They put up, you know, a guard against your Graveprowler, but you want to be able to hit face, especially if you've got that Swift Strike in hand. You know, hit face with the Graveprowler, eat a Bog Lurcher, and then Swift Strike for the win. So I really like this card a lot. I'm playing 3 copies. And I like this card too, Ash Oppressor. I mean, you can't always get the value of the Shackle. Like in this deck, since we're playing like Blighted Elite and Imbued Minotaur, you know, a lot of times you can proc the Ash Oppressor, but even if you don't, 4/3 for 3, you know, it's still a solid stat line. So, you know, its floor is still not too low, and then the ceiling can be really high if you can shackle, you know, one of their important creatures. Really, really nice. Yeah, Blighted Elite, you know, good pressure, good for the Graveprowler to eat, and then, you know, proxy Ash Berserker, and it's also some draw. So, you know, against aggro, you can't necessarily play it, but, you know, maybe you can gambler that one away, I guess. Like, sometimes if you can get 2 Blighted Elites out, it's like, that's your draw for the whole game. Oops, I accidentally removed it. And, yeah, Imbued Minotaur is nice for Graveprowler because then gives it breakthrough. And yeah, so that's the deck. Let's head back in that Elite. And then let's see how it goes. Yeah, so I haven't been able to play that much recently. So last weekend was my birthday, and I was kind of busy, and then the weekend before that was DungeonCon. So went to DungeonCon for like the whole President's Day weekend, which was awesome. But haven't been on ladder much. Although I did play the Grand Melee this last weekend, and that was really nice. Took kind of tied for second place with 27-6 using my signature deck Movebender. This is kind of an interesting hand. It's like oh my goodness, like just like keep this and go for the Bog Lurcher Swift Strike win. Yeah, but no, I need to mulligan this, unfortunately. I need to get a 3-drop. Guildsworn is gonna have a way to get rid of that Bog Lurcher. Nice, 2 Graveprowlers in hand. Okay. Don't necessarily need to, but who knows, maybe. Against Guildsworn. Yeah, I'll play out the Fighters Guild Recruit because I'm gonna follow it up with the Imbued Minotaur. Sometimes you would keep the Fighters Guild Recruit, like especially with that Crossbow in hand.
Lord Dagon comes.
Oh, they're on Invade.
Hide any longer.
Oh my god.
To oblivion with you.
Okay, because they're playing Invade, I'll start playing it into Shadow Lane here. So yeah, hopefully this survives and then I can get the Ash Berserker out. Unless there's like a Blossom of Oblivion or something. Okay. Oh, there's that Bog Lurcher. Okay, I got it. Bog Lurcher, Graveprowler, Crossbow. So let's see if I can do it. Haha, they're wasting their rapid shot. They don't know I have Bog Lurcher in hand. Okay, that spinner could be nice. On 7, if they play a guard, I can, you know, spinner and crossbow. I do hope that I can hit face with this, because the Graveprowler... Okay. So, well, I have 2 Graveprowlers, so I was like, it tips my hand a little bit to play the Graveprowler already, but I don't think they have, like, cast into time for this. If they do cast into time this, Bog Lurcher, I'll be very sad, but... should be able to win unless they hit a prophecy. I mean, a javelin would be so sad. Oh, Swift Strike. I could almost just try to Swift Strike instead of the crossbow. Let's try that, because I'm just too worried about them hitting a prophecy. If I... Okay.
Death consume you.
Nice. Always feels good to beat Invade. Yeah, there were a lot of ways to win that game. That was a good one. So yeah, I mean, Graveprowler is just great because so much OTK potential. Like this deck, you know, sometimes you just, you know, aggro them with Blighted Elite and, you know, Enraged Dragon Knight and stuff like that. But then, if you are having trouble closing the game, right, you just wait for that Graveprowler to show up. Okay. So greedy. So I'm thinking about just keeping the Graveprowler and crossbow. Yeah, for the sake of the video, I don't know. I like having the Graveprowler. Maybe normally I would mulligan for 3 drops. You know, this could go very badly, but against Ebonheart, I mean, a lot of times Ebonheart's control. If this is aggro Ebonheart, then yeah, screwed. But so I think I play out this green pact here. You don't need the ring that much for this deck because a lot of the deck is like 3 drops. So there was a case there that, you know, maybe I could hold. Oh wow, okay. But once you know that the Blighted Elite's coming, then yeah, playing out that green pact is really good. Then I can burn my ring next turn to follow it up with Ash Berserker. And I mean, I would like to keep some ring for Graveprowler. Oh, they're giving me a Snake Tooth necklace. I was thinking about adding this card to the deck. Although I guess in this match I probably won't need it, so maybe I'll gamble it. I can gamble in field here, I think. Okay. Usually they concede after I play the gambler. Having them concede before I play the gambler is pretty nice. Yep, so that's the other way the deck wins, is that you just get out. You know, that massive early pressure. I even had the Graveprowler and crossbow in hand. I even kept the Graveprowler and crossbow and mulligan and still got out enough early pressure that they just scooped, so yeah. Another easy game. Yeah, this deck is, it's just so much fun because, like, you know, a lot of it is just like throwing your stuff out there, right? Like, deal with this. Here, Blighted Elite, and then they like waste their removal on the Blighted Elite, and then they throw out the Bog Lurcher, and they're like, oh man, I should have saved my removal for that. Okay, against Empire. I mean, Astrid and Crossbow go well together. I'll just keep this, I guess. Why not? Let's see what happens. Okay, let's play with this Ornamented Sword. I think, unless they want to save it for Bog Lurcher, because they might not actually have removal, because I have Ring. The Bog Lurcher might actually be able to hit face. They could Edict it, but I think I'm gonna save the Ornamented Sword in this case. If they were playing like blue, where I didn't think the Bog Lurcher would be able to hit, I would
I'll lead my family to glory.
play out that Ornamented Sword on 2. Okay.
The void awaits you.
Let's see what you got. They might have Edict or Mummify. But if they just play a Chump Guard, yeah, exactly. They're just playing a Chump Guard, so that's why I kept that Ornamented Sword. I mean, I could have even Quicksilver Crossbow, but I was so excited about my Ornamented Sword there.
We see you waking and sleeping.
Now I have the Crossbow. So one thing about this deck is that you do want to
The hist heals and rejuvenates.
hold the Crossbow if you can for Graveprowler.
Join us.
The void awaits you.
So here I could cross. I think it is Sanctuary Pet. I wish I could get this out, but I need to Sanctuary Pet this. And then I'm trying to decide if I play on my Imbued Bosmer. Like around Debilitate. It's not that good, and I already have a lethal creature in this lane. I think I'll hold the Imbued Bosmer just in case it's a Debilitate. If they just remove this, I still have lethal. Yes, okay. Okay, yeah, so 3 games, 3 wins. Yeah, I think that kind of shows you how the deck plays, and hope that you enjoy it, and let me know what you think. Catch you next time.